All right. Today is Thursday, July 31st. It is raining, overcast. It's been storming since about 2 o'clock in the morning. And then it's been nice, steady rain since sunrise. The garden is looking really good. I've got all kinds of huge flower clusters of tomatoes, like over 10 tomatoes just in a bunch all together. This is definitely one of my best years for the garden, and this rain has been great. I definitely need to do some weeding before it gets way too out of hand, but because I was so diligent with it about a month ago, I've been really able to just kind of let things go and grow. But the rain and the soil is also very good for the weeds, just like the garden plants. But today, anyway, I wanted to talk about healthy obsession. I didn't make a video yesterday because my phone only had like 4 minutes of video available in the storage. So I just deleted like a bunch of old guitar clips, like 6 gigabytes worth of just like short videos of me playing the guitar that I never posted on Instagram or anything. So I know I was saying how I could probably do a whole week just on the concept of progress, and then in the second video of progress, I linked it to success, like the concepts of progress and the concept of success, and how they're linked together. And I kind of want to transition into obsession, because I wanted to talk about progress, like not in the sense of like the typical sense, like how I view it and how I think if more people did view it, they would be happier with life if they weren't trying to fight for a spot in this hierarchy that isn't even really available to them. And if they were to like take their focus more into their own life and their own purpose and their own community and their own local, like what is in their direct proximity, it actually leads to a happier, more fulfilling life. And so I wanted to talk about obsession, because obsession is usually a very personal thing. And even as a kid, you'd probably say that I was obsessed with music. Like I wanted to listen to music all the time. I would never get bored of it. I would think about it when there was no music. I would like make up melodies in my head. And I was also like very into counting and rhythm and symmetry, and I would just like count my steps when I would like walk through the lunch line in school, and like just do it in the back of my mind, like not even like consciously. It was like something I would do like obsessively and compulsively, and like I don't think that is really a disorder. I think that that's actually the sign of a healthy, functioning mind. It's doing something. I don't know like what is going on in a neurotypical person's head if it's just like silence, just like but anyway, healthy obsession. So a lot of us, we can't even really compete in all the hierarchies around us, and we're given the internet, like we're given our own little personal scrying glass that we can peer into the void with, and it shows us like the highest caliber that exists of whatever it is that we value and whatever it is that we want. Well, it reflects us back to ourselves, and you can't ever compete with what you see, and then you isolate yourself from what is like surrounding you, and you have this like false perceived reality that you spend more time looking at than your direct reality in proximity with you. A lot of people are isolated, and even like people who like haven't moved out of their parents' house yet, like even when I was still living with my mom and dad, I still had my own personal interests that I was obsessed with. Even when I didn't have like very many friends to talk to, I still had these things that I would obsess over, and I would want like more out of them. Like I've been playing, like I picked up my first guitar when I was 12 years old, and I've been playing seriously since I was about 25, 26. So, and now it's something that I'm obsessed with. Like I was always obsessed with listening to music, and that grew so strong that I was literally like, okay, how far can I take this? You know, how much more enjoyment do I possibly get out of this? And then I realized, like, the most enjoyment you get is from applying yourself. The most enjoyment that you get is from participating, you know. And like, I was in a small punk rock band for 3 years while I was in the military. We were like regional, you know, we went to the surrounding states and major cities. But just like practicing my guitar now, I feel like I have a participation, and like I'm adding to music, you know. I'm not just consuming it. And you want to be obsessed. You want to have like something that you're obsessed with. Like the garden is another thing that I'm always thinking about. And it's like, I ask myself, like, as you might say, like, well, how can you be thinking about the garden and music all the time? And it's like, because they're the same, you know. They're one and the same. Like an art that takes over time and space, you know. And well, I really believe music is in everything, and it's like the fact that there is like harmony and dissonance in life, and you can capture it with music. And they say it's a universal language, so it's like you can show somebody that you understand them, and then like speak back to them with music in a way where they can understand you, all through just writing your own song. You know, you can make someone feel seen, and then you can show yourself, show your own part through a song or a poem. You know, like music is just a poem with music with like added to it. The lyrics are just the poem of the music, and there's a lot you can do just instrumentally. You know, there's a lot of great songs that are just instruments, no lyrics, no words, and that alone in itself is beautiful. You know, like classical symphonic music, just like whole arrays of instrumentalists, you know, being composed together like so precisely, and every single one of those people with their singular instrument is not self-serving. They're trying to make themselves invisible. They're trying to join with the music, not like use the music as a feather in their cap to like flaunt, look how special I am. They're trying to blend in to the ensemble of all the other people and just disappear into the music. Yeah, so earlier I was talking about isolation. You know, a lot of people live these lonely lives, and they think they want to have all these friends and live like they're on the Jersey Shore and, you know, have all this social interaction. But you should really just think about first what is valuable to you, how you can share it with other people, and how much can you transition your life into doing something that you would do anyway for other people, and if they can compensate you for it. Like, that is the path of like least resistance, really. Like, it's a very difficult path, but once you hit that flow where you're doing something that you're uniquely capable of, you're stacking your talents in your uniquely specific way, and then you can deliver that to others, that is when work doesn't really even feel like work. And music and gardening at this point, like if I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, I would still like sprout beans in the pantry, you know, just because it's like part of what I do now. It's like how I think, it's how I view the world. So if music is something you're just going to do anyway, you should be obsessed with it. You should, to the point where you're measuring your own progress off of your past self, and not like even thinking about what some 6-year-old kid in North Korea can do, you know, that would take you like 30 years of learning. Like, you might not ever get to that level if you started practicing for the whole rest of your life. You should be trying to have opportunities and moments to impress the people directly around you. And it's not about impressing other people, but it's like nobody has that opportunity like you do. Like Katy Perry or Rihanna, with their scope of millions and millions of ears to listen to them, doesn't have the same unique opportunity that you do to like play the guitar at a campfire with all your friends and write a song about all of your lives and perform that in that moment. And that's like one special slice of history that could never be replicated in exactly that way. And you have in that moment more influence right there than any superstar, any pop star, any like celebrity. I don't know, I hope that makes sense. And if you're obsessed with things, it doesn't matter what people think of you. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. It doesn't matter if you're beautiful or ugly or anything. Like, I have a friend who, this is his first year putting in a garden, and I was telling him how I would help him, and he like put it off, and then he started a little later in the year, and it is a bit of like a scraggly slapdash garden, but for his first year, like, he's gonna eat stuff out of it. And the other day he told me, like, I look at the rain differently now. Like, I'm glad that it's raining so I don't have to worry about watering the garden, and I'm like happy that my plants are happy that they're getting a drink of water. It's like, yeah, that's a great attitude to have. Like, you can't buy that. If you could bottle that and sell it, it would be like you'd make $1 million, but you can't. People try to replicate, they'll go get raised beds and like a nice little chicken coop and then paint a mural on the inside of the chicken coop, and then they never actually enjoy the work. It's not done out of love, it's done out of like vanity and pride. And then all your chickens are going to get sick and your garden's going to look like crap because you don't give it the love and attention and compassion that it needs to like live and thrive. And it's the same thing with writing a song. It's the same thing with like building a friendship or a family. You got to be, you don't have to do anything, but I feel like it would be such a better world if people threw themselves into the highest possible good they could do in that area, And time, it just kind of moves forward, and you just find yourself in all these situations. You keep like following these threads of like, oh, this is a higher paying job, and this is a good place to like meet my wife, my future wife. This is a good place to raise children. But you're not limited to that, like those are all good things and they have their value. But I always ask people, how do you want your life to look? People will go to college and then they say like, oh, I want to be a doctor. And it's like, what is really motivating you? Like, how do you want your life to look? What does being a doctor look like? And is that how you want your life to look? Now, personally, like, I want to have those moments where, I'm joking with my wife while we're drinking coffee in the morning. I'm asking my children what they're interested in and how they're feeling. And, they ask me like, oh, what's this instrument? Like, can you teach me how to play this? And they like have a love for it. And like, we get to spend time in the garden and make dinner out of it. And that's how I want my life to look. So that's what I'm doing right now. Like, I'm not trying to like delay my gratification indefinitely for my entire life just to like hopefully have some kind of payoff and then destroy everything that's good on the way. I want to like make good choices now and live good now and like nurture that now. I want to have those moments where, we're all singing and laughing together. And that needs to be cultivated literally like soil. Like soil in the garden, you need to have organic matter and nutrients and love and attention and like time and like letting the natural courses of life do their process to kind of refine that into soil that plants just, you drop a seed in and it immediately thrives. The roots take up to it and they're like, this is wonderful, this is delicious, I can't wait to grow the biggest tomatoes and cucumbers and squash that you've ever seen, Nowadays, obsession is viewed as like weird. You like, there's so many memes about, oh, when somebody talks about my special interest and I overhear them, and it's like, yeah, no one gives a crap about like, no one wants to hear you talk for 3 hours about like Yu-Gi-Oh cards or something. And I'm sorry if that's like really offensive to somebody, but I've really grown to like not even care what people want to talk about, and I'm not really like a huge people person anyway. Like, my friends who meet me and like who I'll hang out with would probably call me really extroverted, but I find a lot of happiness just being alone and learning about the things that I am interested in. And like, it's called obsessed, yeah, And obsessed, I guess, is the word. It's kind of like a buzzword that makes you think it's unhealthy or that it's too far or that it's like on the disorder level. But I think that it's just a healthy functioning mind, a sign of a high functioning healthy mind. And, you know, like say you're a writer or like you love literature, you're obsessed with reading books and, you know, like writing prompts and writing in your journal and all that stuff. And so, like, let's say you work a 9-to-5 job, and then at 5:30 you get home, get into your pajamas, make yourself something to drink, and then write until you go to sleep, you know, and then you're ready in the morning, and then all day while you're at work, you're thinking about your novel and you're thinking about this and that. Like, people would call that obsessed, and they would be like, oh no, they're withdrawing from society and their family and their friends. It's like, no, they have something that's like making them feel alive. And it's a good thing. Like, we want people to have that. We want to nurture that. And you know, you want to like be able to give them a call. Like, what are you doing today? Like, oh, you know, writing again. For like the 70th consecutive hour of my free time, I'm putting all this work into this because I love it. It's like, that's wonderful. You know, we need more people doing stuff like that. And we love the result of it. It's like everybody loves listening to music, but we do kind of live in an age where everyone is kind of contending with AI. And I heard the other day that there's 250,000 songs added to Spotify every single day. Like, obviously more than any single person could ever learn. And I remember like being a teenager and thinking, wow, I'll never be able to listen to every good song or every song I'd even want to hear. Like, it's really going to be an amazing adventure to be able to find the songs, and there's some that I might never find, and that's okay. And I feel like we shouldn't even be aware of that. And the fact that we have our phone almost seems like it's designed to discourage us. But don't make your song to compete with the 250,000 that are uploaded to Spotify every day. Make it for your family and your friends, and tell it about your life. And if you have no family or no friends, make it in hopes that it'll reach a kindred spirit somewhere out in the world. And then, yeah, publish it on Spotify, publish it on the internet, but go sing it to real people in real life. And, you know, like, I'm guilty of not doing that for a long time. You know, I've had 2 kids in the last 2 years. But I'd love to start another band again. You know, I would definitely make time for that once a week if the opportunity ever arose. But, like, do something, you know? It's so, like, the minute people are like, well, my hobby is just, like, watching TV and, like, going out to eat, you know, like, people will be like, I'm a foodie. And it's like, okay, so you just spend all your time thinking about literally consuming. And, you know, like, with a couple different decisions and a lot less self-discipline, I would have just been the guy that was like, oh, look at my record collection. Let me tell you about this one. It's like, yeah, all the time you spent sitting and listening and, you know, pondering and, like, consuming, you could have been applying yourself and adding to it and having a back and forth relationship with your art and with beauty, rather than just, you know, being a bottom feeder on the ocean, just like sucking up all the little scraps of, you know, animal excrement or fish excrement above you. God, I just want my kids to do what makes them feel alive, and I'm not gonna, like, rebuke them for reading in their room all day or, like, playing the piano all day. Like, whatever they want to do, I'm gonna support them and encourage them. I'm gonna, like, stoke that fire for that thing that they love.